Hello, and welcome to the Millennial Nutritionist podcast. I'm Isla Garcia, master's degree of nutrition science and registered dietitian, and I'm going to make weight loss realistic, sustainable, and uncomplicated for your busy lifestyle. On this podcast, me and my team of registered dietitians will decipher the latest nutrition research, dissect bad diets, and discuss social media trends for you so you can feel confident knowing what to eat to achieve your health goals. Research suggests that most weight loss programs aren't successful, but my experience has taught me that this is not because the participants aren't committed. It's because those diets are designed by non-nutrition professionals and center around severe restrictions. We are here to provide the facts about the science of weight loss so you can have the success you want and continue living your best life. Welcome back to the Millennial Nutritionist podcast. My name is Isla, your founder, CEO, and host. And today we're going to talk about pregnancy and nutrients of concern. So I've been feeling a little uninspired, honestly, just because I am only pretty much thinking about having my baby in 5 days. But also, it's just hard when I don't have a lot of clients to come up with things to talk about as far as weight loss and stuff, especially too when I'm not really going through that right now myself. But this is something that I have been teaching myself as I've been pregnant. So maybe you will also be interested in the future, or this can serve as a time capsule episode for you to come back to if you become pregnant in the future. The one thing that I love about nutrition, and a big reason why I became a dietitian, is because nutrition just affects you at every stage of life you're in. And pregnancy is no exception to that. There are different things you need during pregnancy versus other times. And these are the nutrients of concern that the dietary guidelines have identified have been hard for people to get in, and that have some new research has come to light that is even more important than maybe we thought before. And a lot of supplements don't always contain these nutrients. So I want to talk to you about those today and some ideas on how to get them in, some ways that I've been getting them in as well. But announcements. So first, we still have one spot left to work with Maggie for $100 off. So take, advantage of that. We normally increase the price come January. I know that's kind of far, but as we get into the fall season, which I'm so excited about, people start thinking about going all in and then starting over in January. So if you want a super good discount, you could take advantage of that. Or maybe, you are trying to prep for a fall wedding. We just went through the spring weddings and now we need to get through all the fall weddings. So maybe you're trying to lose a little bit of weight for that. We could help you out. Or maybe even just make sure you don't gain weight during the fall holidays. People tend to gain the most weight during the fall. And then what ends up happening is we don't lose it. And so over the course of 10 years, gaining 3 to 5 pounds every fall and then not losing it can really add up. So let's nip that in the bud, start some good habits. We'll help you enjoy some fall treats, but maybe identify the things you don't like. Or even if you're you have more time now that the kids are back in school. I know it's hard for some parents to focus on themselves during the summer because it's chaotic and they are trying to entertain their kids all summer long. And the fall is when they have more time to do that, especially if you're a stay-at-home mom and now you have a little bit more time on your hands. So all good reasons to work with Maggie and take that last spot. Also, millennial living theme. Don't forget that breakfast is the theme for this month. We are focusing on that just because we haven't done that in a while. And so the challenge is to post 3 different healthy breakfasts that you are incorporating to inspire others, but also to just keep yourself on track, especially if you're a previous client. Just a reminder that when you enter the challenge and you complete it with these 3 pictures over the course of a month, you get entered to win a chance to win a $25 gift card of wherever you want. As far as the content that I'm uploading for it, I was thinking, I couldn't sleep last night, and I was thinking about maybe doing some sort of back to school breakfast guide from Trader Joe's or something like that, making sure we don't already have one, and uploading something like that I think could be helpful to kind of tie in all the August things. But let's get into today's episode. So, when we are pregnant, we need more calories, but we don't want to just have extra calories. I mean, let's give our bodies credit for what it can do, because, if you're taking a multivitamin or a prenatal vitamin, your body can do a lot with it. And if you eat the recommended more amount of calories, you should be okay. But if you just want to like be on top of everything, you should be trying to get extra calories from the foods that I'm getting ready to talk about. And just so you know, expect we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 categories of like foods or vitamins and minerals. I'm not really going to focus on macros or like calories or anything like that. I'm really just focusing on the vitamins and minerals that are really important or that we even need more of while we're pregnant. So first off, we have folate or folic acid. When you're pregnant, you need 600 milligrams. And when you're not pregnant, you need 400. Just as an example, I even found some recommendations anywhere from like 400 to 800 or something like that. So we'll just go in the middle and say 400 micrograms. Why we need more, like this is like the most well-known one, but just in case you don't know, it helps with the brain spinal cord development and red blood cells. So it really helps prevent against that neural tube defect that is more common than the rest of these things I think that I'm getting ready to talk about. One thing that I didn't realize, it's really important to actually take this before you're getting pregnant. Some recommendations say 3 months before trying to get pregnant. Some say 1 month. So even if you're not pregnant and you're listening to this, one thing overall that I didn't realize is it's really important to have your body start out in a really good state nutritionally, as far as like having all these like vitamins and minerals stored up, because it can help you so much during pregnancy because you're going to be depleted of them along the way. But especially with folate and folic acid, like if you're planning on getting pregnant, the recommendation is to take it a couple months before, anywhere from like 3 months to 1 month before, because that is all developing for the baby within the first trimester. So it's super, super important to make sure you're getting enough during that first trimester if you can. But sometimes we get sick and we can't always take a prenatal, or maybe you're throwing it up. And that's why it is important to be taking it before as well, so you have a good store of it in case something like that happens. Most prenatals contain folic acid, so it's not something that we have to worry about like too much, but it's also important to consume foods with folate, as well as taking the vitamin mineral, the supplement. For all these, getting ready to say, sometimes the food source is more absorbable than the vitamin and mineral or the supplements. That's why it's also important to try to consume these in foods, not just rely on your prenatal supplement. But have food lists for all of these. And I'm just going to be really cut and dry about the foods, because I think it helps me to have exact numbers. So I didn't know if it'd help you too. So beef liver is actually on like all of these lists. So I wanted to include it just in case. I mean, my mom loves liver. I don't, so I don't eat it. But if that's something that, go for it to help with the full intake. So you can get about 215 micrograms in a 3-ounce portion of beef liver. And remember, that's going to be, what is I'm so bad at math. We need 600. So it's a big portion of it. Spinach, which at the end, I'm going to go over all the foods that are like, maybe if you could work these in every day or every other day, you're going to hit most of the categories here. But spinach, half a cup is 131 micrograms. Black eyed peas are half a cup of black eyed peas, which I love. Hoppin' John, I have a big frozen thing of it that I guess I should probably eat this week, maybe, in the freezer. But you can also get the recipe on Millennial Living. Black eyed peas, half a cup will give you 105 micrograms. Fortified cereals, which is going to show up on a lot of these lists, are 100 micrograms. White rice is 90, and asparagus, just 4 spears, is 90. So all those can really add up in combination with taking your prenatal vitamin. The next mineral or vitamin, iron, I think is a mineral, is iron. And we actually have a whole Millennial Living video. I had an intern do a video on this. So if you want a super in-depth review of why you need iron, even when you're not pregnant, you can go check that out. But iron is an interesting one because you need so much more of it when you're pregnant. When you're not pregnant, you only need 18 milligrams as a woman. And when you are pregnant, you need 27 to 30 milligrams, which is a lot. I didn't realize that 1 in 10 women become anemic during pregnancy, and then 1 in 4 become it during the third trimester, which ended up happening to me. I thought I was going to get off easy because I wasn't anemic for first and second trimester, and I was really proud of myself considering I don't really eat a whole lot of meat most of the time, especially beef. And then the third trimester got me and I became anemic. So I am now on prescription strength iron, but I learned a lot through that process. So why we need iron. Obviously, iron carries oxygen to your tissues. So if you're anemic throughout pregnancy or even not, you'll know because you can get really, really tired. Your blood volume increases when you're pregnant. So you need more iron to help with all of that. It also helps to make more blood for your baby. And your baby will kind of, well, at least how my doctor explained it to me, your baby will end up using up your supplies first and then leave you without a lot, which is why you'll end up feeling tired. So it's important to make sure you're getting enough. Low iron, if left untreated, can cause premature birth, low birth weight, postpartum depression, and potentially infant death right after birth. So if we can, let's, not have any of those things happen. Heme iron is more easily absorbed and found in animal sources. So if you can eat more animal sources to get this in, this is better. I really struggle with this during pregnancy. So I don't blame you if you really can't do it either. But consuming non-heme sources with vitamin C rich foods can help with absorption. So my OB actually told me to take my pills with orange juice, but vitamin C rich foods can be like oranges, berries, bell pepper. So it's just an example of why it's so important to get a variety of vitamins of fruits and vegetables because it helps with the absorption, especially these non-heme sources of iron, which we go in more in depth in that video. So food sources of iron, it helps, or food sources of iron is listed in my phone because I did this for myself personally a while back. So starting out with the biggest source is going to be whole grain cereal. You can get anywhere from 16.2 to 8.4. Are we talking about milligrams of iron for meat sources? Oysters, which I was surprised by, and it's kind of like a kick in the gut because you can't really have like raw oysters. And then I find that most restaurants who do cooked oysters like end up putting tons of cheese and butter and stuff. So it's just really high in calorie. But if you have the option to do oysters and you're anemic, it could be a good option because it's one of the highest meat options with 6.9 milligrams per oyster or per 3 oysters. And then beef comes in at 2.5 per 3 ounces of beef. Then we have a whole bunch of non-heme, so fruit and vegetable options and grains. So cream of wheat, 1 cup of it is 12.8 milligrams, which is a lot. Spinach comes in at 6.4 for 1 cup cooked. Artichokes, 5.1. Lima beans, 1 cup of them are 4.2. So I have been trying to work in some lima beans when I can. Tofu, a half a cup is 3.4. And I'll just say this last one, dark chocolate, 1 ounce is 3.4. So every little bit kind of helps us out with that. As far as a tip to get more in, I would say doing like spinach in a smoothie has been really helpful. I've been either doing like spinach in a smoothie or I've been enjoying just like sauteed spinach with olive oil and garlic and salt has been good on the side or like in a grain bowl or underneath like salmon because it's also going to show up in a lot of these lists. Choosing beef as a protein if you can, if you're like going out to eat or doing cereals. And then also I forgot my little millennial tip for the folate. Again, cereal, spinach, and smoothie because those food groups overlap. Okay, so I want to give you a more personalized ad today for a food group that I think could fit well with this topic, and it's Bada Bean, Bada Boom, Crunchy Broad Bean Snack. So I've definitely done this ad before, but I found them again at Aldi. They like randomly popped up, so I thought about reincorporating them as an ad because I have a discount code for you. So if you don't know, they are roasted broad beans that come in different flavors like sweet onion and garlic, which is what I picked up at the store, mesquite barbecues, and zesty ranch. These are the Millennial Nutritionist approved because they're only 100 calories while containing 6 grams of protein and 4 grams of fiber, which help no matter what life stage you're in. Plus, they're an actual produce. They're not a powder. They're not some sort of supplement. They're a produce option that have just been like roasted and dehydrated. My favorite thing about them is that they're a produce item that you don't have to keep cold. So you could pretty much just keep some in your car or your purse for those times when produce doesn't seem like an option for you. For example, my mom came and visited me recently and we went to the big city of Dallas. This is totally like old script, but just for an example, for the day. And we packed these as a snack. Both she and David thought they were so good. David liked the sriracha flavor and my mom liked the sea salt flavor and my mom ordered them that moment. I found the Bada Bean Bada Boom snacks on my own when I was at Aldi and was so surprised how good the flavors were. My favorite is the sweet onion and mustard, which is totally still true. That's the option that I found this week at Aldi, because they remind me of those like pretzels that you get that are like that same flavor. I showed them on a grocery haul and the brand reached out to me and gave y'all a discount code. So you can order them online at www.badabeanssnacks.com/the Millennial Nutritionist and use code the Millennial Nutritionist at checkout to receive 15% off. Order them and stop letting busyness be the excuse as to why you're not eating enough produce. Third, vitamin and mineral, iodine. So iodine, we also need more during pregnancy. So 220 micrograms is the recommendation during pregnancy versus the 150 we need when you're not pregnant. So just to show that you do need more, it is very important. It's involved in thyroid hormone. It helps, so that helps with metabolism for us, for the mom, for the baby. It can also impact growth. It can potentially cause preterm delivery, and it can help with brain development. Most people do consume enough, but not if you are avoiding dairy, eggs, seafood, or iodized salt. And I should have said this before, but I'm only listing these vitamins and minerals that the dietary guidelines lists because these are the ones that they're most afraid people are not consuming enough of. There's so many different vitamins and minerals that we need more of, but most of them are covered in a prenatal or we get enough of them anyway. But these are the ones that people tend to not get enough of. And iodine is one if you are not doing these foods, the dairy, eggs, food, or iodized salt. And supplements sometimes don't contain iodine. For iodine foods, cod is really high, which I haven't eaten any cod, I don't think, during pregnancy, but go for it. 3 ounces is 75 micrograms, so a good chunk of it. Dairy, which is on a lot of the lists, and I've been loving dairy during pregnancy, gets us anywhere from 88 to 168 micrograms, depending on like what you're going to eat, which could include like yogurt and cottage cheese, but not a lot of regular cheeses have iodine. And then iodized salt, there's 71 micrograms in a teaspoon. So don't like start adding a bunch of salt, but if you do salt, make sure it's iodized. None of the trendy salt typically has enough iodine in it for us. For your tip to try to get more of this in, I would say like yogurt on the go is a really good option. We love that for protein as well. But like if we're thinking like grab and go, what you don't have to make from scratch, little things of yogurt can be really helpful. Doing milk and lattes and like switching to regular milk if you can stomach it and you've been doing like almond milk or oat milk or something like that in things like cereal or oatmeal or coffees, just switching to a regular milk, can cut out time and helps get you more iodine. The next one is choline. So we do need a little bit more, but this is one of the ones that we might just not be getting enough of in general, even when we're not pregnant, which is why it's on the list. So 450 micrograms is what we need when we're pregnant, and 425 is what we need when we're not pregnant. So not a whole lot more, but it's still really, really, really important to get enough in while we're pregnant. And supplements might not contain enough choline. So this is a newer discovery that research is finding that it's more important than we maybe thought. It helps with brain and spinal cord development. And as far as foods that you can get that have this, whole egg. So one whole egg is going to get you 147 milligrams of choline, and a lot of that is going to be in the yolk. And it's actually potentially better absorbed than the vitamin and mineral in the supplement that you're eating. Liver, again, is going to get you almost the whole amount. 3 ounces is going to get you 360 micrograms. Fish is a really good source. So salmon, tuna, and cod, 3 ounces is going to give you about 180 micrograms. And beef, 3 ounces gives you 115 micrograms. As far as a tip to get more in, if you're like busy or don't have the energy to cook, like I haven't had the energy to cook, doing like tuna packets as a snack, if you like doing that, can be really helpful to get this in. Or I've been enjoying doing salmon once a week for an easy dinner. I think salmon is so easy because it doesn't have to cook for that long. You could just easily like whip up some sort of like something to put on it as far as like olive oil or butter, lemon juice, and some herbs that I've been finding in my pantry. And that helps to get a little bit more choline in. Okay, so 2 more that doesn't necessarily like increase, but they are nutrients of concern for all Americans. So even if you're not pregnant, you might not be getting enough in. It's just not like special just for pregnant people, but pregnant people do need these. The first one is calcium. So calcium, we need 1,000 milligrams. Yes, I'm guessing not micrograms, 1,000. And this doesn't increase when we're pregnant. Like we need this also when we're not pregnant, but people in general aren't getting enough of them. So what it does is it helps with bone, circulatory system, muscular system, and nervous systems of the baby. And for foods, milk is going to give you 209, about 300 milligrams. Fortified cereal, anywhere from 100 to 1,000 milligrams in 1 cup. Yogurt, 6 ounces is going to give you 250. A half a cup of boiled spinach, which is a lot if it is the aftercooked measurement, is 123. And as far as your tip, the same as others, because these are all things I've already talked about so far. Last one is vitamin D. Vitamin D, we need 600 IUs. It's a different measurement, but just so you know, during pregnancy. And I think when we're not pregnant as well, but it's something that Americans aren't getting enough of. And it helps for the bone and teeth development of the baby. Vitamin C and calcium are needed together. So it helps with both of those processes, which is why they do the same thing. And again, 3 ounces of salmon is going to give you 570. So that's why salmon is so helpful. 1 cup of milk is going to give you 115, and 1 egg is going to give you 44. All of IUs, and I've already kind of gone over those as far as like tips for how to get more in. So as far as like summation, foods to work in general that come up on most of the lists, like if you're trying to get in something per day, which has been helpful. If I've been like, okay, I don't have energy to like make a whole meal, but what is like a food I can get in? A whole egg is going to give you a lot of these food groups. Trying to do that, like I've been really loving avocado toast, trying to do it even as like, I mean, I haven't been enjoying like boiled eggs. I find that frying an egg is so much easier, but trying to do an egg on top of a grain bowl or on top of avocado toast, like I said, is really going to help. Fish. So if you like fish, if you're eating out and fish is an option on the menu, go for it. It's going to help you get a lot of these vitamins and minerals in. Beef. So again, like if you have the option to eat beef at home or order it when you're out, that would be a good food for you to get in as much as you can. Dairy. There are so many different dairies out there that you could do. We have a whole dairy podcast episode that I can link. I've really been loving so much dairy. I love milk in my cereal. I've been loving milk in smoothies or cottage cheese with berries or even like milkier desserts because I've been having such a sweet tooth during pregnancy. Doing like ice cream is going to help a little bit. Beans, you can try to work in once a day. So you can listen to our ad to get a bean idea. Or again, I post lots of bean recipes in Millennial Living. But I've also been really loving those Brahmi bean packets because it's been helpful when I don't feel like cooking anything. And dark leafy greens, which is always my nemesis. And I've been having success again with the smoothies or doing them just like a sauteed spinach, which I'm trying to do tonight. So example of a full day of eating, if you need it all brought together, this is honestly like an example day of what I've kind of been eating or what I strive for, would be like waking up in the morning and doing like a fortified cereal or even like oats. I've been enjoying oatmeal for breakfast with berries and doing that milk with it, like dairy milk, regular dairy milk, and then also doing like a latte with milk or your coffee in the morning, making sure to do it with regular dairy. Doing a snack of a boiled egg or like avocado toast and egg, like I said. For lunch, doing some sort of grain bowl to hit that. What do we get in grains? I've already forgot, but it's just helpful to get in grains with lentils for those beans, maybe sauteed spinach and a roasted cauliflower. Then for a snack, yogurt, granola, and fruit to kind of hit some of those groups. Dinner, get your fish in. So I would do like salmon, roasted potatoes, and a side salad again with some more dark leafy greens, maybe a little bit more vegetables. And then dessert, like a chocolate pudding, which if you follow me on Instagram, you see that I've been loving that like chocolate pudding that's like super easy to whip up in like a little pudding pie that is just basically a lot of milk. So that's an example way you can get in kind of some of those food groups that I was talking about. Well, I hope you have enjoyed this episode. It's kind of a cut and dry one, but if you are wondering like what foods, vitamins, and minerals, some ideas to get in, this can be really helpful for you because I feel like it's been annoying not to have like exact measurements or like exact recommendations when providers have told me like to eat certain things, or even just wondering like, hey, I want to focus on what I can get extra in and not just focusing on like weight loss or like worried about weight gain during pregnancy. Worry about these things first because it's going to help your baby and you so much more. Um, but what I want you to do today is to sign up for our email list. So if you are inspired by these food groups, these foods, like as long as you have a varied diet, you're probably going to do okay. But that starts with the foundation of it getting in these varied food groups. So if you need meal ideas, we put that in the newsletter. We also make sure to put in recipes from Instagram that we posted are like Millennial Living. If you need like weight loss tips, we post things on like different platforms. So to put it all in one place, I would recommend you sign up for the email list that I will put in the description box below. But I hope you enjoy. I'm going to have my baby Monday and we will see if I put up a podcast episode or not. I guess it depends on how bored I am. I might be sitting there in labor because I'm totally doing an epidural and be like, let me go ahead and just schedule this. But we'll see. So this is your episode for today and to be determined when the next one's coming out. Bye. Thank you so much for listening to the Millennial Nutritionist podcast. For daily weight loss tips and nutrition information, you can find us on Instagram at the.millennial.nutritionist and on TikTok at millennial.nutritionist. If you find this information helpful, please subscribe to the podcast and share it with a friend who needs encouragement on their health journey. See you in the next episode.